Hello, Tungsten Miner here. This time I'm going to talk about food and sleep. Sleep is pretty simple, so we'll get to that first and then dive into food. Let's get going. We are standing here at my home base in the Shire on our server. So I have been playing for about a week now, so I've had plenty of time to kind of get things moving along. So we'll be able to jump right into explanations without a lot of tedious watching me do the work. I'm going to start, though, over here with sleep. So in vanilla Minecraft, of course, you recognize the bed. Sleep in the bed. It not only passes the night, but it sets your respawn point. And that's still true in this mod pack, just the same. The other thing you have, that's another bed-like object, is from OpenBlocks, this sleeping bag. This allows you to pass the night, but it does not reset your spawn point. So when I'm home, I'll sleep here, and in case the worst should happen, I will generally respawn in this vicinity. But when I'm on the road, I will use this. Now, I say when I'm on the road, one of the things to mention is I actually have gotten killed once even in this 1 week. I was roundabouts here, south of Mirkwood, north of the Brownlands, right, way off in the wildlands. And I was traveling during a rainstorm, and I got waylaid by some orcs and killed, right about here. And when I respawned, I actually respawned somewhere down here, and I had to walk about 1 kilometer to catch up with where I was. I notably did not respawn back in my bed over here. So the way that, hey there, doing another video. Okay, yeah, so back to what I was thinking. I respawned over there. So in the Lord of the Rings mod, it changes the respawn behaviors so that if you are a long ways away from your bed, your normal respawn point, you will instead respawn close-ish to where you spawned in the first place. We also have Zero's minimap. And what will happen is I've since deleted it, but you'll get an automatic waypoint here, which shows you where you died. So you just head for the waypoint and you get to go back to wherever you happen to be. Of course, whatever killed you is probably still hanging around, so it may be a little difficult to recover your stuff, but if you keep at it, usually you can manage. And that's what happened to me, is I waited a little while for everybody to despawn while I was still far away, and then headed back over there and found that I could easily pick up my stuff. The reason I got waylaid is that it was raining, and it was dark enough that the orcs spawned under the shadows of some of these larger trees. And so I waited especially until it had A, stopped raining, and B, was daytime, so that normal spawn behavior meant there wouldn't be any more orcs waiting around for me. And the last thing to talk about is this mod pack has Morpheus's sleep mod, which sadly doesn't work here in Middle-earth. It works fine in the overworld, but since Middle-earth is on its own time scale, and the Morpheus mod isn't aware of this mod, they don't interact. So you'll still see the little chat messages down here, but it won't actually cause people to sleep. Really kind of too bad. It would be nice, but 1.7.10 is a very old version of Minecraft, and not surprisingly, nobody's updating mods for it anymore. Okay, that's it for sleep. Let's jump into food. So the first thing you'll notice is I've got a couple of different crops growing around here, all enclosed in fences, of course, because there are rabbits, and rabbits will get into your crops and destroy them. They'll eat them all up. The other thing, I don't see any around at the moment, but there are birds. And so the Lord of the Rings birds will actually swoop down and, just like the rabbits, they'll gobble up your crops. So this is a scarecrow. Now, the only necessary parts are some kind of head. So it could be a pumpkin, could be a jack-o'-lantern, could be a skull, anything that's a head. Some solid block, could be dirt, could be cobblestone. I've chosen Shire pine wood planks. Doesn't really matter as long as it's not glass or a half slab or stairs or something that's not solid. And then finally, some kind of fence post. Doesn't matter what kind, any kind of wood, doesn't matter. So this 1, 2, 3 blocks constitutes a scarecrow. And this will keep the birds from picking up crops within a 16-meter radius. So 33 meters diameter, so basically count off 16 meters in that direction and 16 meters that way, and that's the area that the scarecrow protects. Just for symmetry, I stuck one over there and it extends my area even further. So these two scarecrows cover this garden bed and that one and that one and that one, plus a pretty decent region off to the sides in both directions. Which is why I've actually got grapes growing and not having birds steal them all. The second thing is this mod pack, Istari, includes HarvestCraft. And so in here, most of what we're looking at is actually HarvestCraft plants. And these are set up in this mod pack so that you break them like regular plants, so that wheat and potatoes and carrots and all the regular Minecraft plants behave the same as the HarvestCraft plants. If I break one of these, I will get a seed back again, and I will get the food, whatever kind of food it gives me. So here I've gotten 2 chili pepper seeds, as well as a chili pepper. And they all work pretty much the same way. They're seeds, and you plant them, and they require tilled earth and blah, 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 all the same stuff. But there's a ton of variety, and that way I can use this in, well, it looks like 16 different recipes. Hot wings and chili and all sorts of things. If you've played HarvestCraft before, you know there's a ton of recipes that you can use. The other nice thing is that since we are using Spice of Life, you kind of need that much variety of food. Oh, look at that, my lunchbox is empty. So I've got my lunchbox here. I'm going to shift and then right click. That opens the lunchbox. If I hold down the right click button, it will eat whatever food is in there. I can also right click on any inventory that has food in it, like my handy chest full of food here, and it will scoop up whatever food is in there. So I'm going to shift right click again to close it. A simple right click just opens the inventory, and we can see it picked up a cottage pie, some lembas, mustard pork, cram hash, and roast turnip. If you leave your lunchbox open and you jump around, there's a 25% chance every so often, I forget how often now, that some food will fall out. So in general, you don't want to keep your lunchbox open all the time, or you're going to wind up losing food eventually. But apparently not for me right now. Anyway, so you want to keep it closed most of the time, and then open it up, eat your food, close it again, and keep an inventory full of food so that it's easy to refill it. I keep 2 of them in here because the way configs are set in this mod pack, every 6th food will refresh the counter. Oh, I didn't even mention the counter. So the counter is every time you eat a food, it will say not eaten recently for this one. Nutritional value 40%. So apparently I've drunk carrot juice recently, which means I now get less value from carrot juice. And as each time I have carrot juice again and again and again, I get less and less and less value until it cures no hunger, no saturation at all, and like barely any hunger, or even none at all, I think. It also takes longer to eat the food. So it's valuable to have at least a couple of things in rotation. And you can see here, eat once out of the last 6 foods. This mod pack is configured to have 6 as the number. The default is 12. So if you're playing in a different mod pack that has Spice of Life, you might see a different number there. But handy enough, the lunchbox has room for 6 things in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have also changed the configs for this mod pack so that only one of each item can be in here. So if you're using a lunchbox and you just eat what's in the lunchbox all the time, you will never run into a situation where you're eating something you shouldn't eat, because the lunchbox is also smart enough when it grabs food out of the chest to only pick things you have not eaten recently. And in fact, I think it's smart enough, even in this version, to pick out those things which are going to do you the most good of whatever you happen to have in your box. So that brings us to the next part for food, is cooking for Blockheads. This is, as I say, 1.7.10, so this is a very early version of cooking for Blockheads, and so it doesn't look nearly so fancy as it will do in future versions, and as it does in future versions, but it still provides a really helpful service, which is you're going to get a list of all of the food items that can be made with the tools and the items that are in adjacent inventories. And that's what these refrigerators are. Each one of these is a 1 meter block. I've got 2 there, 4, 6, 8 of these altogether, plus a sink which provides water. So now I can sort by that and look just a little bit upwards. We should find fresh water in here somewhere. What am I at? Cheese. I went too far. There we go, fresh water. So this will make fresh water available for whatever recipes that happen to require them by adding the sink. And then all of these tools are the various HarvestCraft tools. And Cooking for Blockheads and HarvestCraft know about each other, so they work together very well. And that way, I am now able to make lots and lots of different kinds of things based upon what food I happen to have stored in my refrigerators here. And that's what makes it so easy, is I can sort by hunger restored and see minced pie restores 6 shanks plus a lot of saturation. Lemon meringue gets me quite a bit. Waffles, apple pie, blackberry cobbler. So it's already picked out the things that are going to be most beneficial. And as I go down this list, you can see fewer and fewer shanks restored. But you also notice that saturation doesn't necessarily correlate with shanks. So I can also sort by saturation and see which are the things that are going to fill me up the most. Apparently apple pie. Not exactly realistic, but we'll go with it. The other handy way of dealing with this is sorting by saturation, going to the bottom. You almost always find the list of ingredient items because they by themselves don't really provide much value. Pasta, mayo, heavy cream, fresh water, none of these. There we go. Finally, we find one that like you can eat. So none of these you can eat by themselves. Finally, we get to ones that you can eat, but that's half a shank for a raisin. So not much good making raisins, except raisins are useful in other recipes. So if you come to the bottom of the list and say, I'm going to make things that look like they're useful in other recipes, then your list of recipes will get a lot longer. So dough, for example, gets used in a whole bunch of different recipes. 31 pages worth, so 62 individual recipes, including things like Minecraft vanilla cake. So I have, for this mod pack, changed a lot of the recipes for the kind of cakes that you can place in the world so that they require HarvestCraft kinds of materials. So I've got a cake there. Breads and pies also require dough. Cherry pie. Why don't I make I'll make a lemon cake. So for lemon cake, I need some lemons, I need some kind of sugar, I need some kind of milk, and I need dough. So let's see, I have dough somewhere. Oh, I've only got 8, so not too many. The cakes are the one kind of thing that don't show up in here, unfortunately. So while I can make an apple pie, this is just an item. It can't be placed on a tabletop and eaten slice by slice. The ones that you eat slice by slice can only be made at a regular crafting table. So I need dough, I need a baking dish, I need milk. Nope, milk is over here, and I need 8 milk. And I needed some kind of sugar, which is over here. And I was going to make a lemon cake, so I need some fruit. And I don't have enough lemons to make a lemon cake, so I'll make a berry pie instead. I think that's enough. So I'm making an elderberry pie. Drop all this in here, and obviously I have missed something. There we go. All right, so what these will do for me, and these work pretty much like a Minecraft cake, is you can't eat these items directly, right? I can right-click on this all day long, nothing happens, which is why it doesn't show up in here. This only shows you things that can be eaten themselves exactly as they are. But like a Minecraft cake, I can place these berry cakes down and just right-click them to eat a slice of them, which is super handy because now they're just sitting out in my hallway as I'm walking back and forth and I notice my avatar is hungry. I can just cut off a slice of cake. The hobbits also are very fond of food of all shapes and descriptions, and they will frequently ask you to make them a cake. So now you know the recipe. As far as gathering and obtaining food now, okay, still light out. Let's get to a couple of other things. One, corn stalks. These are an addition from Lord of the Rings. You can see they grow 3 meters tall. They work pretty much exactly like sugar cane, which is to say, if you knock them down, they can be knocked down from the ground up. And I've got some reeds at the end there. So those aren't useful for food, but they can be woven into various other thatchy kind of woven baskets and that sort of thing. The 2 chests that are by my front door, for example, are both made from reeds. So now I dropped some corn stalks, which are the part that you need to plant, and the corn itself, which is the part you get to eat. Unfortunately, there's kind of a conflict because HarvestCraft adds corn and we get corn from Lord of the Rings. So I have tweaked things using Craft Tweaker to be able to use either kind of corn for pretty much all recipes. The only exception is furnace. So in the furnace, you've got this kind of corn, which gives you cooked corn. And then there is this kind of corn, the HarvestCraft sort, which can be used to just convert into this kind of corn. So this is the default, basically. Any dicted version of corn can be made into this corn. And then you can also just individually make one corn into the other and vice versa. So if you need the other one, you can flip-flop them with the recipes. You can grow it. And I'm not seeing the recipe for the furnace. What is the recipe for popcorn? Oh, okay, in the oven. I'm not sure why it wasn't showing up before, but there you go. You can make popcorn out of this kind, you can make cooked corn out of the other kind. And you can convert one to the other, so you can pick one to grow and just be done with it. This is pipeweed, which cannot be eaten, but it can be smoked. I don't happen to have a pipe, so I can't demonstrate that, but I can probably make one real quick. Let's take a look here. Pipe. Recipe. I don't want to buy one. I want to make one. Huh. Okay. So there's different kinds of smoke, I guess. Well, that's not helpful. It looks like you can't make one. You have to buy one. So I guess I won't do that now. Maybe in a different video. But the notion is you get yourself a pipe. You get yourself some pipeweed. I can show you the processing of that. It's a little bit involved. So I'm just going to harvest this lot. Quite some time. Now, one word of warning about birds. They will steal seeds from your inventory, and the scarecrows do nothing at all about that. So I am in danger of having a bird come and steal some seeds from me at the moment. I'm not terribly worried about it. I've got lots and lots of extra seeds. Okay, so I have harvested my crop. I now have pipeweed leaf, but this itself can't be used in a pipe. It needs to be cooked. Now, a Hobbit oven allows you to cook many food items at the same time. So I'm going to drop all of my pipeweed in here. And you notice I've got stacks of 4. This is actually kind of deliberate because one piece of coal in a Hobbit oven will cook 4 pieces of food in each one of these inventory slots. So one piece of coal, instead of cooking 8 things, will cook 36 things. So it's much to your advantage to use a Hobbit oven for food, but it cannot be used for anything else. So you can't smelt iron ore in this. You want to use something else for that. And we'll get to that later. So now I have pipeweed, and this is the stuff that you actually use. And you charge up your pipe with it, and you need a sulfur match, which I think I have some over here. Yeah, there we go. Recipe is just a bit of sulfur, which is an ore you find underground, and any kind of stick. And you get 4 matches. And then I think you just craft these things together. I don't remember the mechanic off the top of my head. It's not something I use a lot. And that's it. However, the most valuable thing you can do with pipeweed once you've made some is actually sell it to the hobbits. Not surprisingly, they love this stuff, and they will pay top dollar for it, which allows you to buy other things from them, including food. Let me sleep, and then we'll talk about one last topic. Good morning. Heaven's Day, 10th of Golem, Shire Reckoning 1402. Last topic are Hobbit Farmers. So let me introduce you to Dora Baggins, the Hobbit farmhand that I hired from the local farm. I think she came at a fee of 72 silver pieces, which is maybe a bit spendy, but she's a hard worker and has done an amazing job tending this field. And in fact, she has grown wheat, she has grown potatoes, she has grown onions, and she's currently growing tomatoes. And she manages this whole field by herself. If I give her bone meal, she'll be able to accelerate the growth of the crops, and otherwise she'll find ripe plants and grab them. That gives her some seeds and gives her some fruits. She will plant the seeds and she will drop the fruits in here. So I have, without doing any work at all myself, got 4 stacks of tomatoes. Plus, when I right-click on Dora, and this is true for any of the NPCs, so this is kind of a precursor to hiring and dealing with soldiers as well. I can talk to her, and she just says something very well. Yes, you're doing an excellent job, Tungsten Dora. I can give her commands, or I can dismiss her, which basically means she vanishes, all gone. But she's doing a great job, and I could still use some help with my farm, so I'm going to keep her around, and we're going to talk about commands. So her name, her position, her status. She's currently doing work. I could ask her to stop doing farming work, and then she would follow me around, which is very convenient because I can go to, say, Darwinian and hire a vintner, and then so long as they are not tending the vines, not farming, the vintner will follow me back, even if I fast travel all the way back here to the Shire. And I've told her to keep track of all the plants ground basically within a range of 8 meters. And when I gave her that instruction, I pushed her into the little pond there. So she was sitting right in the middle, and 8 is far more radius than she needs. But farmhands won't open gates. So she's recognized that she's supposed to keep track of this entire patch within this fenced area. Oh, Dora, come back here. Too far away. Can't reach her. Okay. The other thing you want to do is you can assign her to a company. So if you have farmers for this kind of thing or that kind of thing, you can give them a company name and manage them as a unit altogether. This kind of doesn't make a lot of sense for farmers, but we'll come back to this with soldiers because then it starts to make a lot of sense. Command requires plus 50 alignment with hobbits. So even farmers won't just hire out farmhands unless you've gotten to be in good graces with the hobbits. And since there are no enemies that spawn in the Shire, it's actually the easiest thing to do is to just do quests with the hobbits. And they are constantly giving you quests. So it's very easy to find a hobbit who needs a hand with something and very rapidly get yourself positive alignment with hobbits. Now we've opened her inventory, and you can see she has just dropped off all the tomatoes that she had. She picked up a seed, so she got 64 tomato seeds, and she no longer has any bone meal available. The nice thing is that I don't have to interact with her directly, because as you saw, when she's in the middle of the field, I can't reach her. But any chest, it has to be like an actual vanilla Minecraft chest, that has an item frame with any sort of hoe at all in it, is a place that she is going to come to look to drop things off and to pick up supplies. So if I dropped a bunch of bone meal in here, she would pick that up and start using it. If I dropped a bunch of tomato seeds, she would jump in here and start using those. Obviously, her inventory for seeds is full, so she wouldn't at the moment. But she started off with just 2 seeds. And she has a tendency of trampling the crops, which is a little aggravating, but unavoidable. So if I want her to use bone meal on the crops to speed things up, I can just drop some in here. I don't actually have to find her. And she will keep farming so long as this inventory is not full. And she's only got 2 slots of inventory herself, so this actually means that she can grow a lot more crops before I have to come and deal with her. Okay, I said one last topic. I lied. There's one last topic, and that is my egg farm. So here, this is a straw golem from Thaumcraft, and I haven't really talked about Thaumcraft. TRW, and the recipe for this guy is to take a bundle of hay, toss it into a crucible with 4 humanus, 4 motus, and 4 spiritus, and you will get yourself a straw golem. The straw golem needs to get some instructions, and so I have given him a gather animation core. Recipe for that being, again, in the crucible with a golem animation core, which is just some night ore bricks and fire and ordo this from your wand. So this is at the arcane work table rather than the crucible. And then you toss this guy into... What am I seeing here? I want that recipe? There we go. You toss this into the crucible and you'll get the core, the golem, and you toss the animation core onto your arcane crafting table with some niter and bricks and stuff, Ignis and Ordo, and it will make it into a gather animation core, which basically just means anywhere within his line of sight, which is, I think, like 5 or 6 blocks total. I forget what it is by default. He will go around and gather any dropped items. And since I've got a bunch of chickens who keep dropping items, he keeps picking them up. And the reason why he's hanging on to this and not putting it into this basket is the basket is full. He's been working at this for a while. I've got more eggs than I need back inside the house, and I've got way more eggs than I need way out here. So he will gather things so long as there's something to gather, and if there isn't, he'll just kind of hanging around, waiting for some room in his inventory. I will cover him in a lot more detail in another video. So that's it. Well, no, one more thing, two more things, sorry. Vines, so these are red and green grapes. These posts underneath here are vine posts, and the way you make those grapevine posts recipe is just this bunch of sticks on top of each other in a regular crafting table, and you get these posts. I didn't get any seeds for that. That's annoying. So grapes come from Dorwinion, which is a long ways from here. So if we're here in the Shire, Dorwinion is way over here. So I have made that trip, found some grapes, and brought them back, made myself some posts, and now I am growing grapes, which of course get turned into wine eventually. They are subject to attack from birds just the same as anything else. So Scarecrow, grapevines, very good combination. And then up here, finally, I have the last 2 food items to talk about. These are raspberry bushes. So basically they're little blocks that you right click and they drop their berries. And now this is a bare raspberry bush. Nothing happens when you click on it, not surprised. These are found kind of scattered at wild through most of the temperate, so northern areas of Middle-earth. And there are a whole bunch of different varieties of these. So those are raspberries, we've got blueberries, we've got elderberries, blackberries, a few others, I forget. You'll find them all over the place. I collected, 12 of each kind, and I've just got them planted under here as decorative little tree boxes. These are fruit trees, and just like you'd expect with a vanilla oak tree, breaking the leaf blocks on these will occasionally drop a fruit. And apparently I'm not getting lucky today. Like I said, occasionally. Definitely not every time. I have no luck at all, am I? Not even getting any saplings. Oh, okay. I got a sapling at least. Yeah, don't stare at the sun in Middle-earth. Another sapling. I'm going to denude this tree and still not get any oranges, don't I? One orange, hooray! Well, okay, so orange trees not native to Europe. They are native to southern climates. So I had to travel all the way down to here in order to start finding orange trees. Unfortunately, the political climate down here is not great because I am in good graces with Gondor, which makes me enemies with the Haradrim who live down in this area. So as I went down there on my horse, they were attacking me left, right, and center, and I had to kind of run past them in order to not get clobbered by these guys who really didn't want me around. So I stayed just long enough to get myself some orange trees and a couple of other citrus trees that you see behind here and run away. So I need to replant this, and then I think that is kind of it. So you've got a whole bunch of different kinds of fruit trees. These are just a few of the options, but apples and pears and plums and oranges, lemons, limes, almonds, dates, on and on. There's quite a few. This interacts with HarvestCraft in kind of a weird way, in that HarvestCraft trees do not appear in Middle-earth at all. They just won't grow naturally, so you do have to get back to the overworld somehow in order to find the HarvestCraft trees, which do not themselves appear here in Middle-earth. But that's for another time. That's food and sleep in Istari. Let me know if you have any questions down below, and subscribe if you want to see more about our server world and about the mod pack. That's it for now. Talk to you later.